Hey everybody, it's Dr. Cole. Today we're going to do another Ask Dr. Cole where people from Facebook and Twitter get to ask me their health questions that they have. And today's question is actually from a friend of mine, David. He is an international male model in New York. He is a health aficionado. He has a great health blog called The Paleo Model. I'll leave the link to his blog below. It's really great. Check it out. And let's see what David's question is for me.
Hi, this is David Scholler from thepaleomodel.com. How you doing, Dr. Cole? I've got a question for you today. Firstly, let me apologize for the crappy self video. I'm currently in Washington Square Park, New York, and just on my iPhone here. So anyway, to get to the question, I've been wondering about my cholesterol recently. It's a little bit high. Total cholesterol's around 265, 270. LDL's around 160. The HDL is pretty good, around 92, and my triglycerides are low at 63. But still, I've been wondering whether I may have a bit of hypothyroidism, because I know that can contribute to elevated LDL and total cholesterol. The only symptoms I have for potential hypothyroidism is cold hands, which I've had for as long as I can remember. Besides that, weight and everything is good, but I've never had the full thyroid panel done, and I was wondering what I should look for. With the standard test, my TSH is between 2 and 2.5, and my free T4 is around 1.2. I know these fall within the normal range, but who's to say what is normal? And anyway, I don't want to be normal, I want to be optimal. So if you've got any input, the question is, what should I be looking for in my thyroid numbers, and how may this be affecting my cholesterol? Thanks so much, Dr. Cole. See you next time.
Thanks for the question, David. The topic of cholesterol and thyroid, these are really important to people, so I really appreciate the question, and hopefully I'll be able to answer it well. The big difference between functional medicine, which is what I do, and conventional mainstream medicine are two main differences. The first one is the interpretation of the labs that are run. And, on the right side of your lab, you have a normal interval range. How we get that normal range, where we say from this number to that number, that's normal, anything outside of that number is not normal, is abnormal. How we get that is through a statistical average of the population of that lab. Who are the people that are typically going to labs? They're sick people. So it's really not a good predictor of what health is. So we in functional medicine have to look at a much narrower range of what is signifying optimal health. Where is your body functioning well? Hence the name, the functional range, which is much narrower than the pathological range in your conventional doctor. So that's the first difference between functional medicine and conventional medicine. The second is we run a lot more tests in functional medicine to look at the underlying reasons of why people are sick. So let's look at how those two differences relate to cholesterol and thyroid. Well, with cholesterol, let's talk about that first. I'm sure you know this, David, but cholesterol doesn't cause heart disease. But there are good predictors of heart attack and stroke. They're going to be low HDL, high triglycerides, inflammation markers like C-reactive protein, homocysteine, and high particle numbers, which you can get from tests like the NMR and the VAP test, as well as what size is your LDL trending towards. You have large buoyant LDL, which are like big fluffy cotton balls. Those things are actually protective. So calling LDL bad cholesterol is really an incomplete view of LDL, because part of it's really protective. And then there's small, dense LDL, which is problematic. So looking at these more comprehensive understanding of a lipid profile will give us clues as to if you're at an increased risk of heart attack and stroke. And you're not going to get that from just looking at total LDL and total cholesterol. Typically those are only run because they are what's needed to give out a statin drug. So if you're just giving out pharmaceuticals, those tests are adequate. But if you want to find out underlying health issues, they are largely inadequate. So the test that you showed, you told me about, your HDL sounds great, your triglycerides are really low. So overall, from the information that you gave me, that you sound like really good health. So I wouldn't be concerned about it, but I would recommend getting an NMR or a VAP test done. And again, these are labs that I run for patients all across the world via our virtual functional medicine practice. Now let's talk about how cholesterol and thyroid are connected. They are connected. Poor functioning thyroid is going to affect particle numbers, which is an increased risk of heart attack and stroke, very much so in different ways. Your thyroid acts on the precursor enzyme that produces cholesterol. It also is going to increase receptor site expression, so the amount of receptor sites that are on the cells that actually pick up your particles are going to be decreased with the poor functioning thyroid, as well as going to either increase or decrease intestinal absorption of your cholesterol. So they're inextricably linked between the thyroid metabolism and your cholesterol metabolism. So you're very right in worrying about that, but it's not just looking at overall LDL. We're going to be concerned about the actual particle sizes, and then again the trending size of that particle, whether it's small, dense, or large, buoyant, and the amount of them. And then also we want to kind of look at thyroid. I think the same underlying principle is the same between the both, is that looking at TSH and T4 is really an incomplete profile. You're going to want to look at reverse T3, free T3, T3 uptake, FTI. You're going to look at globulin levels, antibody production, and again, the same with cholesterol. You're going to want to look at inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein, homocysteine. Inflammation is really an underlying culprit, underlying killer between all chronic disease, like lipid problems as well as thyroid issues. So you're going to want to expand the amount of tests that are run, and as well as the interpretation of the labs that are run. The thyroid markers, again, that 2.5 I would say is the higher range of the functional range of what is optimal healthy for a TSH level. But you're going to want to expand the amount of tests that are run to get a complete picture, because it may be normal for you. So the first thing I would recommend is running these additional labs, and again, I run them for people all around the world via my virtual functional medicine practice, as well as you're going to want to interpret the labs that are run completely different than are done in the standard model of care. So I hope this answered your question in a nutshell. And if anybody else has any questions, you can send them over to me via drwillcole.com, and maybe I'll answer yours.